Welcome. I'm Harmony Slater, your host of the Finding Harmony podcast. Over the past 20 years, I've taught thousands of yoga teachers and students to explore the intersection between ancient wisdom and modern everyday life, using mind-body practices to heal, awaken, and manifest their dreams from the inside out. This podcast is a sanctuary for those feeling overwhelmed by life's challenges. Are you ready to jump in and discover how these challenges aren't actually in the way, but are the way to finding harmony? Let's invite the magic back in. Hello, welcome. Today I am joined by Monica Lorraine, who is a soul alignment coach and spiritual astrologer. She uses astrology as a tool for emotional insight, self-trust, and aligned decision-making, not from a place from fear or fate or forecasting. And so what we have for you today is going to rock your world, because in this episode, we are exploring the astrological themes for this year, 2026. What is this year going to ask of each of us on a deeper level? Emotionally, in our relationships, even energetically. We're going to talk about how to work with astrology in a grounded way, how to understand repeating patterns and the transitions and transits of planets, and how to move forward with more clarity and confidence during times of upheaval or change, which I'm pretty sure are in our future. So if you're feeling like you're standing on the edge of something new, maybe you're feeling a little uncertain as we get started this year, not really sure about, how things are going to go or how to step forward, then this conversation is for you. You're going to love it, and I cannot wait to share the wisdom and usher in some divine guidance from the planets for you today. Let's jump in. Hello, and oh my goodness, we have such a treat today because I am joined here by Monica Lorraine. Hello, my dear. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. I'm so good. So excited to be here and so glad I said yes. It's the end of the year and I am super excited to talk about what we have coming up in 2026 for sure.
Oh, thank you. Well, you are a spiritual astrologer who helps women gain clarity around their patterns, purpose, and their next steps through grounded and practical insight. And I just got a little mini session and a sense of that for myself. And wow, so powerful. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
So tell us a little bit about what makes the way that you do astrology different. Like, what's a spiritual astrologer versus just a regular everyday astrologer?
Well, for me, the reason I say spiritual astrology is some people will call it evolutionary astrology, but then somebody will say, well, what does evolutionary astrology mean? So I find saying spiritual astrology is much easier. And what I'm really saying is that when I look at a chart, yes, I take into consideration your psychological and emotional wiring, right? This is literally, I could look at a person's chart and I can see their psychological and emotional wiring, like really what makes them tick. Why do they do the things they do and the way they do them? However, when you add the spiritual aspect to it, what I'm talking about now is what is the evolutionary path of the soul, right? I go pretty deep with this stuff. So if a soul says, okay, I'm going to come into this lifetime and this is what I'm here to do and this is what I'm here to experience. And here's all the people that I need to show up in my life so that I can grow in these areas. Then what starts to happen is that rather than becoming a victim, as I often felt early in my lifetime, a victim of my circumstances and family I was born into and situations and all these things, I started to realize that there was a higher purpose behind a lot of my painful experiences, that there was a higher purpose behind, again, the family I grew up in, the experiences that I had, the way that I moved through life, the things I had to learn early on. And when you're looking through a spiritual lens, what you're really looking at is what is, from a soul perspective, what is my path that I'm here to be on? What is the agenda of my soul in this lifetime so that I can stop fighting against it or feeling victimized by it and I can actually start working with it. And to me, it takes a very spiritual lens to be looking through to even be able to do that because now that puts responsibility back on you. I always say if I could be the
Mm.
problem, I could be the solution. If I have to wait for someone else to do something differently, I'm going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
So when you
Yeah.
when you look at it through the lens of spirituality and a spiritual lens for your astrology, you're really saying, I may not like all the things in my life. I may not appreciate some of the things that I've experienced, but I'm willing to take a look at how this ties into the bigger picture of what I'm really here to do, what my contribution is, what my soul needs to be able to grow and evolve. And there's your long answer to your short question.
No, I love it. I love it. And I love, like, in the reading you just gave me this, like, looking at the past life and having the Pisces energy and then moving
Yes.
it now more into Libra, it was, right?
Oh no, Virgo, Virgo, Virgo.
Virgo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Virgo. That's so interesting. Yeah, it's just so fascinating, like, from sort of that dreamy energy into this grounded, practical
Yes.
movement forward.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and the insight that that kind of also brings to how you want to, like, create offers or align your life or look at the future, and I know that you're really clear that you don't use astrology as a predictive tool, but more as, like, a map to emotional insight and alignment. So what does that look like? Because I think a lot of us come to astrology, like, looking at, we're looking at 2026 thinking, like, "What's in store for us?"
And that's partially true. It's not that I'm using it or not using it as a predictive tool, but as you saw right now when I was looking at your chart, I was able to, go back to I asked you something about 12 years ago, right? Then I was able to show
Yeah.
you what's been going on the past 18 months and what's coming over the next 6 months. And so what I'm able to do with astrology is that I'm able to pull up a second chart, which is called a transit chart. Okay, that's what all the horoscopes are kind of based off of if people are watching or listening to their horoscopes. And the transit, what it does is it overlays a chart over your birth chart and it tells me what's going on for you at any given time, whether it's today, 6 months ago, 6 months from now, so when I'm able to take a look, it's kinda like getting your astrological weather report, and so I
Yeah.
can say to you, "Listen, Harmony, you might want to wear a raincoat and take an umbrella during the month of June, okay? Just because based on the astrological weather, you might not wanna be caught out there in shorts and flip-flops, okay? Because the energy is just it's going to be available in a way that you can either, work with it or you can work against it." So, that's why a lot of times I literally can look at somebody's chart and say, "Okay, for the next 12 months, let's go month by month and just kinda see what do you need to be focusing on each month so that you're working with your energy, not against it." And what
Mm.
that does is it allows people to lower or eliminate a lot of the resistance that shows up in our life, a lot of the energetic resistance from fighting ourselves or second guessing ourselves all the time. So when you're just kind of flowing with the energy that you already have available, and leveraging the energy that's available, it makes life a lot easier. So when you're looking at the emotional insights of your chart or you're gaining emotional insights, this really helps in relationships. It helps in understanding yourself. It helps in healing. I have clients who are therapists and I have clients who are going to therapy, and a lot of them will use the information from our sessions and take it into their therapy sessions to go even deeper because it's giving us this really, really specific, deep emotional insights into what's going on with them. And even if there's, let's say, things that they're working through, maybe childhood trauma, maybe relationship trauma patterns, all those things, like now they're having the language to go and talk about it and really uproot it and deal with it. So I'm telling you, this chart is amazing. Like I've been working with charts since 2006, and I'm still amazed at how many things I learn from the charts and what I'm able to actually help people see about themselves.
Oh, I love that. So when we're looking at this year, now there's a lot of talk right now. It's
Yeah,
the new year, we're entering into also like this transition from more of a yin energy in the year that we were just in, this snake year. And then Chinese horoscopes say we're entering into a fire horse year.
right.
How does like the Western astrology kind of correlate to this movement of energy? What does it feel like the invitation is?
So let's talk about 3 specific shifts that are coming. There's more in 2026, okay, but let's just talk about 3 because I think anything after 3 starts to get a little overwhelming.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
the 3 things specifically that are going on, and when I say collectively, I mean, like, when I was looking at your chart right now, we were looking at your personal astrology, right?
Yeah.
But when I
Yeah.
say collectively, meaning we're all experiencing this energy somewhere in our chart. Now, wherever that's showing up in our chart, that's what makes it personal, right? So
Right.
maybe we talked about you having Jupiter in your 10th house, and I have Jupiter in
Yeah.
my 8th house, and someone else might have Jupiter moving through their second house. Completely different experiences, but we're still experiencing Jupiter somewhere in our chart. Okay. So the
Yeah.
first thing is that Jupiter has, which is a planet of expansion and loves to magnify things. It has been moving through Cancer for
Mhm.
quite some time now. Now it's going to be moving out of Cancer and it's going to be moving into Leo in the summer. That means collectively, we've all been dealing with big, big emotions. If you, I mean, I was already swimming in emotions with all my work that I've done, my inner work. And then it just
Yeah.
kicked into high gear, like level 10 over the past 6
Yeah.
months. Because when Jupiter moved into Cancer, Cancer rules the emotions. It rules mother, it rules self-care, nurturing, all these things. And if you're in the coaching industry, you probably saw a huge surge around people really wanting to not just talk about self-care, but, like, what the hell does it mean, self-care? What is self-care? What is self-love? What, like, how do I do this in a practical way? It doesn't mean bubble baths and massages. It means something
Mm.
much deeper. And Cancer is really about the core of our inner foundational world. It is like the first 7 years of our lives. The inner emotional foundation was laid. And so depending on what was going on in your household, I mean, if you happen to grow up in a home where you had everything you needed and you felt emotionally safe, secure, and supported, wonderful. But many of my clients, that's not their experience. That wasn't my experience. And so a lot of us have been kind of having to revisit a lot of those childhood issues or patterns or wounds, and not to stay stuck there, but it's almost an emotional deep house cleaning, a cleansing, if you will. And we've really been uprooting them so that we can set ourselves free from these stories that have been kind of keeping us stuck in patterns that are no longer serving us. So that's going to continue though. Okay. So if you've been feeling a big surge of emotions, hang on a little longer. It's not going to last forever. I promise. It just remember it's a deep, deep emotional cleanse that you're going through. However, it will start moving into a different sign, which is going to be Leo. And when Jupiter moves into Leo, it's no longer going to be about those deep emotions and swimming in all your feelings. Now it's going to be about, can I allow, now that I've done all this healing work and cleansing and my inner child and all of that stuff, can I allow myself to shine? Can I allow myself to take up space in the world? Can I show up now and not have this outside need for validation and approval? Can I just show up and do my thing now because that's what I truly feel called to do? And that's, Leo is a very different energy. It's a fire energy. It's about, really getting out there and saying, I'm going to take up space in my own unique way, not in an egotistical way, but in a way that's coming from a very healthy ego. I absolutely can take up space. I can show up in my creative way. If I want to, learn photography, if I want to learn painting, if I want to learn how to dance, like all of a sudden worrying about what everybody thinks about those things is just something that you're gonna need to start moving away from, because if you don't, then you're gonna have a lot of opportunities to deal with that issue. All of a sudden,
There's gonna be a
there's
lot
gonna
of
be a lot of, like, all the people who wanted to not deal with their emotions, Jupiter gave them all a really good opportunity to deal with their emotions. So
Yeah.
anywhere where we're holding ourselves back, dimming our own lights, not allowing ourselves to be seen for who we really are because we don't want to be judged or criticized, Jupiter's going to give you some opportunities to move past that. And not in a bad way, not in a mean way, just in a way that's going to support you in your growth.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, that's so interesting, and I love that this fire energy, it also is aligning with that fire horse energy that sounds like there's a lot of fire energy coming at us next year.
Things are changing.
Or this year.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
by the
yeah,
time we release
I know,
this.
right, this year. Yeah, it's really gonna be about, okay, all the things that I worked through, like, now I'm ready to move forward and do something with it. Absolutely.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Strong action.
Yes, strong actions. So just to recap, so Jupiter in Cancer was about emotional healing, feeling safe and supported, home, family, deeper connection, and listening to your intuition. And as it moves into Leo, June 30th to be exact, 2026, through
Okay.
mid 2027. Okay. So it's gonna be
Wow.
with us for a bit. Now it's gonna be supporting our growth through confidence and self-expression. It's gonna be about creativity and courage, being seen for who you really are and leading with your heart. So those of you who are coaches out there, just know that this is going to be a hot topic with your clients, right? It's not going to be so much about swimming through the emotions during the summer. It's going to be like, okay, I'm ready to do the thing. I'm ready to put myself out there in whatever way that is for them. Okay. All
Incredible.
right. Cancer helped you build your inner safety, and Leo's going to help you shine outward. So that's how
Yeah.
they work together. See, I told you I make it practical. Yeah.
Yes, yes, definitely. You do your inner work and then you get
That's
to
it.
express
That's it. It's
the
time to express.
outcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So the next shift that's going to be happening is the nodes. The north node and south node are going to be shifting signs as well. That's a big deal. So Jupiter takes about 1 year, about 12 months to move through a sign.
Mm.
And the north node and the south node, they work together. They take about 18 months. So these are all very big cycles in our lives. So one of them is a 12-year cycle, right? Last time it was there was 12 years ago. The nodes are an 18-year cycle. And whenever we have a cycle kind of complete, we're being asked to look back at whatever that was 12 years ago, 18 years ago, whenever it happened, and to really see how far we've come. Because sometimes we can look at our life and think, oh my gosh, I should be farther along. This should have happened by now. Why am I still confused about this? But we're not realizing how far we've actually come. Like, I remember thinking about wanting to leave my career in financial services to become a coach. I was thinking about it 18 years ago. Fast forward to now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm doing the thing, right? It's like
Yeah.
my normal life now. So the nodes currently are in Pisces. So the north node's in Pisces and the south node is in Virgo. And this will be 2025 to mid 2026. Now,
Mhm.
the north node in Pisces is pointing us all collectively to what we need to develop. It's like pulling us into something, to do more of something. The south node is collectively pushing us away from something. Okay. So the north node, what we've been releasing, what we've been working through is overthinking and overfixing, because that's the south node in Virgo. Okay. Perfectionism and constant problem solving. Tell me we've not just seen that all over the internet about perfectionism, about overdoing, overthinking, controlling the outcome of things, all of that stuff. So what Pisces has been moving us into, or trying to get us to move into, has been trusting our intuition,
Mhm.
letting life unfold, being present instead of busy, having compassion for yourself. However, in order to do that, it's almost like you have to develop this trust in God, spirit, universe, something outside yourself, where you have to get to a place where you're like, I'm learning how to surrender the things that I cannot control, right? I'm learning how to surrender. Surrender, I used to think, is like giving up. And it's not about giving up. It's actually a really, really powerful spiritual practice to practice surrender, because what you're saying is, I'm not giving up. You're saying, I've given up the idea that I can control the outcome of all these things, right? I've given up the idea that somehow it's my responsibility to fix all this stuff and to perfect everything, right? And so I'm going to stop living in fear and understand that I am being supported somehow by, this thing bigger than greater than I. And that's going to allow me to, some people say let go and let God, or some people will say surrender it to the universe, just release it. Release the need to, I call it the art of practicing surrender. Like, release the need to try and fix everything by yourself and get everything done. And this whole perfectionism thing is really just a way of masking fear, right? Because why are we trying to perfect something? We're trying to perfect something because we don't want it to look messy. We don't want to look like we don't know what we're doing. We don't want people to judge us. We don't want to make a mistake. It's all these things. But you can't be present when you're in perfection. You can't. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, any questions about that before I move into where we're headed with the nodes?
Okay, so the south node was in Pisces or the north?
The south node's in Virgo, and the
In Virgo.
north node's in Pisces.
Right now.
Right now.
Okay.
Right now.
So we're like releasing the perfectionism and the control and all of our negative Virgo tendencies.
Our judgment and all the fun things. Yes.
Yeah. And then we're moving, like what's pulling us forward is this intuitive, like moving into the more presence, more compassion, more creativity. Okay. And is this going to depend on where is it the signs like Pisces and Virgo fall into our charts as individuals?
Yes. So
Okay.
we looked at your chart and we know that partially it's been for you, it's been in the 6th house and the 12th house. So the houses are always going to be right across from one another. The nodes are always right across. You can draw a straight line no matter what. So we all have 12 houses in our astrology chart. So these nodes are happening in 2 of those areas. The houses are areas of your life where this specific energy is activating that for you. So everybody's going to practice, or learn the art of surrender, but it's not happening for everybody in the same area. For some people, it might be with their finances. For some people, it might be with their relationships. For some people, it might be their career. It's going to happen. So that's where it gets personal.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Awesome.
So some people are releasing control and perfectionism around their home environment and their families and their day-to-day activities, and other people are releasing control and perfectionism in their relationships or their career or something like that.
Yep.
Okay. And so these are shifting signs now. We're moving into like a whole new era.
These are shifting signs, and now, and that's going to start in July. I'm telling you, summer's going to be interesting. Okay, maybe we need to do a mid-year check-in here.
I think so.
So now the north node, which is going to be, it's pulling us into something. It wants us to do more of this. The north node is going into Aquarius, and the south node is going to be moving into Leo. Do you see more Leo energy?
Yeah.
Jupiter's already going to be there. So north node's going into Aquarius, and south node is going to be moving into Leo, which is going to be pulling us away from some, we'll say, more shadowy Leo tendencies. Okay, this happens July 2026. So until July, we're still in the Pisces Virgo stuff. Okay, then it switches.
All right.
Now, what we're going to be releasing is needing approval or attention. That's that Leo shadow. Okay, it's all about me, and it's not about anybody else, right? What I have, what I do, who I am, all those things. So it's truly anywhere where you are outsourcing your need for approval, validation, acceptance, or recognition, your soul is asking you to start to move away from that. Because when we were talking about Jupiter going through Cancer, right? It was about for us to do the inner work so we stop outsourcing our need for inner security, emotional safety, and support, to do that for ourselves. Well, now all this Leo energy is asking us to stop outsourcing those things. You have to cultivate that from within. So the more that you want that recognition, approval, validation, acceptance, it's not going to be so forthcoming, because if it were, why would you do the work to release it?
That's so interesting, because Jupiter is moving into Leo, which is all about shining and taking up space and being in the spotlight.
In a healthy way, in a healthy, whole way, from a healed place.
And then we have this other, like, any of the negative sort of attributes of needing that recognition or external validation is something that's going to be getting pulled away.
Absolutely.
That's an interesting dynamic.
And they would totally work together. I think it makes perfect sense. How am I going to get to the other side if I don't actually release this stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what we're going to be growing into is going to be activated by the North Node in Aquarius, which is, pushing us towards something or pulling us towards something. This is about real individuality without performing. This is about community and shared purpose and contributing in ways that help the whole. Because Leo is all about me, right?
Yeah.
And Aquarius is like, well, what about everybody else? How can we help others? How can we contribute something that's going to not just help myself or one other person?
Beautiful. I feel like we're moving into the age of Aquarius.
Well, what's going to happen too is now it's like we're going to start seeing again this need for community, this need for people wanting to get together and connect. It's why I even created the offer that I did for your listeners, right? Because yes, I can do one-on-one sessions and dual. There's still only one of me, but lately I've been doing more of my group stuff and I'm just loving it. And the participants are loving it because now they're craving that again. It's like we went all the way back. We've been so deep into ourselves and just, oh my gosh, I just want to be around some other people who get it, who get me, who understand where I am. They're on a similar path. So that's going to be really big for us. Okay.
Beautiful.
So last but not least, we have Saturn. Yeah, this is a biggie.
We're always scared of Saturn.
I saved the best for last. So Saturn has been in Pisces, okay, from 2023 and will be until early 2026, okay? And Saturn has been in Pisces since 2023, and it's been a quiet time of learning. So what we've been learning is, and you're going to totally get this, how to set emotional boundaries. Like, how has that just not really been the thing, right? You see what I mean when I say collectively? You can almost guess what the coaching industry is going to be really, really talking about for a period of time by what's going on in the sky. Because collectively, everybody's getting activated to talk about these things, right?
That's right.
Excuse me. The difference between caring for others and losing yourself, right? Because Pisces, you can have that overdeveloped sense of compassion and empathy for others to the point where you sacrifice yourself. Right? So compassion and empathy are not the problem, but when you sacrifice yourself because you have so much compassion and so much energy, so much empathy, and not the best boundaries, that's where it gets a little tricky, right? There's something I've been saying lately. I don't even know where I heard it or where I read it, but you can care for someone without caring them. You can care without caring. I think for me, for many years, I was mistaking the fact that I cared for people. That meant I needed to carry people. Right? That took about a good decade to undo. Give or take. How to sit with feelings instead of escaping them. So Saturn has been with us since 2023 and says, hey, you know what? I'm not going to make it so easy for you to just go and check out and just go and Netflix all day or, drink or smoke pot or whatever you're going to do. I need you to pay attention to this stuff. I need you to feel these feelings. Stop trying to escape them. That's why more people now than ever have been doing their inner work, their deeper work.
Yeah.
And Saturn, I love Saturn because Saturn rewards. Okay. It does reward, but it rewards your effort. It doesn't just, it's not like Jupiter shows up and brings you an opportunity. No, Saturn says, listen, here's the deal. This is what I need you to work on. And those of you who do your work, you're going to be rewarded. And those of you who don't, like, okay, I'll be back in 29 years.
29 years?
29 years. It'll take.
Wow.
So if you didn't catch it this time and you didn't want to deal with your emotions, that's okay. I'll be back in 29 years. I don't know about you, but I'm not waiting 29 years. Yeah.
No, let's pay attention now.
And again, that doesn't mean, I say that jokingly. It doesn't mean you can't work on your emotions other times than that. But that's like the energy that's super available.
So it's been in Pisces for 29 years?
Well, no, the next time it'll come back will be 29 years.
Oh, the next time it'll come back in Pisces.
It takes about 2.5 years to go through each sign.
Okay, right. Because it entered in 2023, you said. So the last time we were kind of in a similar emotional
29
space
years prior,
was, like 1997 or something like that.
Yeah, so imagine if you go back 29 years, depending on your age,
Yeah.
right? You might have a clue as to what the heck you're supposed to be even healing through, right?
Right.
You might
Yeah, so it would have been, like, the last, like, 1995 to 1997 would have been sort of the time that Saturn was in this part of your chart, and you could look at that part of your life and then compare it to the last 2 years of
absolutely.
your life
And I
now.
literally can go back to that time and see similarities of stuff that I'm actually like, "Oh my god, that's what I've been working through this past year and a half." Like, I really thought I, was done with that, but no, it was like there was that deeper layer that just needed to be uprooted, right?
Yeah, that's so
But the great
interesting,
thing about
wow.
Saturn is Saturn, whenever these planets show up, you gotta remember they're not doing anything to you. They're actually activating that energy within you. So it kind of makes
Mm,
you want to do it. You know what? Let me just get this
yeah.
done. Let me get this handled. I'm not gonna run from it. Let me do this. Wherever Saturn is, let me handle this. If it's through let's say you have Saturn moving through your second house of your money, your finances, that might be the
Mhm.
the time that you go, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm going to change my relationship with money and resources. I'm gonna heal my relationship with money. I'm going to put some things in place that will help me grow my income and be stable and financially responsible and all those things. So Saturn gives you the energy as if like it were in your chart, as if you were born with it, but only for that window, that 2.5 years. So instead of feeling like, oh, Saturn's here to take everything away from me and make me do my work, it's, ooh, I get Saturn for 2.5 years. I better use that time wisely.
Ooh, I love that
Hmm.
reframe. That's really helpful that it's,
Yes.
like, giving you that energy that you need to do the work in that area.
Yes. It's also teaching you how to trust yourself more, right? There's that
Mhm.
intuition. You'll see there's some overlaps here with the Pisces energy and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And then how to bring spiritual insight into real life. How do we bring the spiritual and then ground it in this reality that we're living in so that we can do something with it? Right? Like
Mhm.
how do we like you can
Yeah.
get the best images and downloads in your meditation, but if you don't take it and do something with it and act on it, like, well, then what are you doing with it?
Yeah.
It's just nice to have.
Totally.
Okay. So now late 2025 into early 2026, so this is coming very soon, okay, is
Okay.
closing the chapter. It's a closing chapter of all this Saturn energy, and it's about using what you've learned and being honest with yourselves. This is the big reveal. Saturn is now moving into Aries,
Woo!
2026. So we only
More fire.
yeah, more fire, okay? And I am an Aries sun, so I'm like, "Okay, let's go. Let's do this thing." So Saturn's moving into Aries February 2026, and now this is what we're gonna be learning, how to start acting from self-trust. It's no longer about learning to trust yourself. Like, you better start trusting yourself now, and you need to start acting from that. Aries is about action. Doesn't want you
Mhm.
contemplating anymore and thinking about it. "What am I gonna do with this?" How to choose a direction and follow through, not let yourself off the hook. If you need to go hire a coach, hire a coach. Get yourself into action. This is no more about contemplating and thinking about it. It's time to do. Saturn wants you to take action.
Love that.
How to build confidence by taking action. So a lot of times people are waiting to feel confident. They're waiting
Mhm.
to feel courageous. They're waiting for something. And it's
Yeah.
Aries and with Saturn right there, I'll tell you what, go do the thing and then you're gonna feel good about it. Go do the thing because that's where the confidence is coming from. Go do the thing because that's how
Mhm.
you're gonna build courage. You don't build it ahead of time. You don't wake up one day and go, "You know what? I am just so courageous today and I don't have any fear and I'm gonna go do the thing." No, you go do it and you do it scared and you do it anyway. And then all of a sudden the fear is gone.
Yeah.
Same thing
Yeah.
with confidence. So how are you gonna get confident about something? Keep doing it. Keep
Yeah.
keep doing it until you're confident, right?
Totally, totally,
There's that
yeah.
Aries energy. All right. So the bigger picture. Okay, so Pisces taught us how to listen, and Aries is going
Mhm.
to teach us how to move forward, how to take action.
Amazing.
Okay.
And this is really, like, the Saturn energy in Aries is dependent on what house Saturn is in
Ye-
your chart?
Yes. Every one of these things that
Okay,
I just talked about is going on somewhere in everybody's chart, but it's going to be
right.
different for everybody. For me,
Yeah,
I have Saturn in my fourth house, then it'll move
yeah,
into my fifth house. For you, it's going to be in a different house. So each one
Yeah.
of these each one of these planets that I just talked about, these 3 shifts, is happening for everybody, but it's happening in specific areas of your life. So that's where your personal astrology comes in. That's where you're not listening to general horoscope about everybody else. You're saying, okay, where are those nodes in my chart? What area of my life? Where's Saturn in my chart? And
Right.
where's Jupiter in my chart? And when you know those things, now you know what's coming up in 2026. And now you could get in the driver's seat and now you can start planning
Mm.
around your own personal energy. So the big
And is it your birth chart that you're looking at, or is it the transit chart,
It's
like
both.
where
It's
the
both.
planet
So I
both?
pull up
Okay.
the birth chart because that tells
Mhm.
me, okay, here's your chart. That doesn't change. It's like your thumbprint.
Yeah.
It never changes. Then I pull up the second chart that sits on top of your chart. And that's how I can
Mhm.
see, oh, this house, this house, this house, this house. These are the 4 areas of your life that are going to be activated throughout 2026. So rather than trying to work on 12 areas of your life, just focus on those
Yeah.
4 for the whole year.
Yeah.
So
Amazing. Yeah, that's helpful.
the bigger picture, to recap, is what Saturn, Jupiter, and the nodes are teaching us. So Jupiter helps us
Yeah.
expand first through safety, which was in Cancer, and then through confidence, which is going to be Leo. The nodes are going to move us from control to trust, then toward meaningful contribution. And Saturn's going to help us grow up emotionally, which it's been, and then take brave action. That's what we have.
That's a beautiful summary.
Yeah, that's what we have coming up for the new year, which I'm super excited about. I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy to let go of some of this Pisces energy. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. I'm a fire sign. I'm like, I need some more fire. That's gonna feel a lot better for me.
Yeah, yeah, you wanna get into action and start, like,
Absolutely.
bringing all this learning into reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, that's incredible. So, what would be, like, the best way for someone to prepare themselves for all of this action and energy that's about to, like, really come our way?
In a real practical way, what I normally do is, and I mentioned with you, I usually offer these 20-minute sessions, 20-minute complimentary sessions, and then I can kind of tell you the 4 areas of your chart where it's happening.
Mhm.
However, I don't have any more 20-minute sessions until probably April. So now what I'm doing is I'm running these monthly online gatherings, which I said to you, I will create one just specifically for your listeners privately. And I'm going to do one in January, February, and March. We get together for 60 minutes. You bring your chart. I'll give you a copy of your chart. And this is where I get to tell you, okay, here's where it's happening in your chart. And you'll also receive a handout that tells you about the different 12 houses or the different areas, so that when I say to you, okay, it's activating your second house, your fourth house, your third house, and your eighth house, you know what the heck to look at in your life because you know where it's happening. So you don't need to
Yeah.
know astrology. You don't need to learn your whole chart. You just need to know, where are these 4 areas in my life being activated, because that's what I want to focus on for 2026. I actually make it super simple by doing that. I figure I was gonna just do 1 in January, but I'm doing 3 of them because people will hop in at different times, and I wanna
Yeah.
make sure that I can actually answer questions, so I usually keep it to about 12 to 15 participants at a time, so that I can actually say to you, each person, "Here's where it's happening, here's what you wanna look for." And so with that, they can watch the replay, and then that'll take them through the rest of the year where they can remember what the heck they're supposed to be focusing on.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
I'm so excited for this offer. I'm sure they're gonna be booked up in no time because
You should join us for one of them too.
I am for sure. I'm totally joining because I'm so interested. I love this
Yeah,
stuff. I think it's so
it
fascinating.
is.
I'm curious, like, if someone's like trying to figure out their purpose or their direction, like they're coming into 2026 and they're feeling like a little bit lost in what they should focus on. What like house or how would you go about helping them? What would you look at first? What would be a good place for us to kind of look at as far as like life purpose or what we're here to do?
I would say, for somebody who's either new to their chart or they're just really wanting to
Mhm.
get a deeper understanding of themselves, start with 2 things. Find out where your not the one in this transit, in your birth chart. Find out what your
Mhm.
north node sign is. Your
Okay.
north node sign, which is your destiny path in this lifetime. and find out what house your sun is in. Your sun. So I'm an Aries and my sun falls in a certain house. You're a Gemini,
Mhm.
correct? Okay,
Yeah.
and it falls in a certain house because that house
Mhm.
becomes extremely important in you fulfilling your purpose and destiny in this lifetime. So
Ooh.
even more so than the actual sun sign, you want to
Mhm.
know what house the sun falls in.
Yeah, the houses are so important, and
Very.
we don't really talk about them that much.
No.
I think my sun sign is in my ninth house, and it's very cuspy with Cancer. I'm only
Mhm.
a Gemini by 2
Mhm.
hours.
Mhm. Yeah, so it's going to be extremely important to know that. And then the north node, you want to know what the sign is,
Mhm.
but you also want to know what house it lands in.
Right.
Like I know, like I have a north node in Sagittarius, right?
Okay.
But so I'm here to like expand my mind, expand my horizons. I was drawn to philosophy very early, all
Yeah.
things that would help me really expand my thinking. I love to learn, I love to teach. However, it's in my first house. And first house is the house of self-identity. And it's
Mm.
about literally me as an individual.
Yeah.
That's my north node, meaning in this lifetime, that's what I'm really here to focus on. But my south node is in the opposite house, which is the seventh
Mhm.
house. And the south
Mhm.
node is represented by your past life patterns. So my south node's located in the seventh house of partnerships, relationships, and others. Let me tell you, I've had a hell of a time in this lifetime breaking that pattern of doing what's best for everybody else and not
Mm.
focusing on myself. And my chart was kind enough to bring me some partnerships that really took advantage of that. And then I said, "Oh, I think I'm starting to get it. Every time I lose myself and lose my identity in a relationship, things don't go well. I better get on over here to
Right.
the first house and start understanding what that really looks like to be an individual outside of a relationship, to not be
Mm.
overly compromising, to not be codependent, to not allow myself to be defined by the relationships that I'm in." So I would say
Mm.
those would be the 2 places to start. If a person is looking for what's my purpose
Mhm.
work, what's my contribution, that's different. That is actually a couple of things I need to look at, which is gonna be individual for everybody. And then
Okay.
then I'm able to see the fuller picture and say, "Okay, literally, here's 3 paths that you can take, and all 3 of them are in alignment with your purpose and your soul work."
Ooh,
Mhm.
that's exciting.
For that, I offer private sessions because
Yeah.
obviously I need more than, a few minutes to talk to them. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I kind of have my sessions put on hold just for a little bit, just because I got to catch up with all the ones I'm delivering. But a good
Yeah.
place would be to start in these online gatherings with me, because you're going to get specific information
Yeah.
for you, and your listeners are going to have their own link, which is going to be
Great.
specifically for them, and I'm sure you'll put it in the show notes.
For sure. It will be there,
Yeah,
and I'll be encouraging everyone to join one.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the ninth house? What is
The
that?
ninth house, people will say it has to do with travel, it has to do with
Mhm.
expanding your mind, it's higher education, higher learning, religious institutions, things like that. But I also say from a spiritual perspective, it's really where you go to expand your mind and your beliefs. Let's say you travel to Bali for 6 months or for a month, you don't come back the same. You go
Mhm.
to another country and you learn something about their ways or their traditions, or you really learn from the people there. Like, you come back a changed person because it took you out of your regular day-to-day environment. It took you out of just what you know in your, let's say, community, and it
Mhm.
expanded your worldview. It helped you to develop a new philosophy about things. And it's also the place where we come up with our rules for ourselves that we govern our life by.
Mm.
It's very interesting when I do deep work with clients. A lot of times I will look at that ninth house because I tell them, what are the rules that you have set up, whether you've been conditioned to set these rules up or you put them in place, and are they still serving you? Right? Are they still serving you?
Mm.
Because if they're not, we need to take a look at some of these rules and guidelines that you have created for your life and see if that's where we need to start to help you to get better results in your life, because they might not
Yeah.
be serving you. And also the ninth house, the shadow side of it is there could be a lot of judgment. right? There could be a lot like, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm vegan and you're eating a cheeseburger and now you're wrong. You're a bad person and I don't even know how you have children. And that's where that real judgy energy can
Yeah.
come from. So sometimes we have to work through that as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I think it's so fascinating that I have the Gemini energy in the ninth house because I'm always like taking in so many different
Well,
perspectives and
because your sun is
ideas. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm so open to like
right.
all the possibilities. And I find it really hard to live by any kind of rules.
But tell me, did that ever bring in any judgment towards you, but the way you do things?
Oh,
Yeah,
probably
because
by myself or
no,
others.
others.
Yeah,
I can understand why
probably
yeah. So that's the other way that it can show
all the
up.
time.
Yeah. So if it's not you doing it, then they're doing it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so fascinating. That's so
Absolutely. So one
interesting.
of the things I'm gonna include in the gathering as well is I'm going to literally give everybody a handout of the 12 houses so that they can see very quickly like, "Oh, okay, so this is the area where it's happening for me, and this rules this part of my life. This it's dealing with my money, it's dealing with my relationships, it's dealing with my health, it's dealing with my, whatever, my home life."
Mhm.
So they'll be able
Yeah.
to, by the time they leave any one of those gatherings, they're gonna know exactly what they're working on for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's amazing because I think like a lot of us, who grew up sort of like reading the horoscopes in the newspaper or different things like
Right.
that, we're, maybe familiar with different character traits of different
Yeah.
signs. But really the really like interesting juicy part I think comes when you understand the house that it's ruling
Yes.
because you're not just like that in your life globally. It's
No.
specific to
Right.
an area of your life.
Yes, and this, to me, is such a powerful tool for self-understanding. I mean, if you did
Yeah.
nothing more than just understand how you're wired emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, you'd probably be doing better off in a lot of areas in your life, right?
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
absolutely.
And, like, one of the houses is all about, like, how you deal with your money and, like, other people's
The
money
8th
and
house.
stuff too,
8th house
right?
and 2nd
The 8th
house,
house.
yep.
Yeah.
2nd house is the money you earn and make from the work you do. 8th house is other
Mhm.
people's money and other people's resources. It's not just their money, it's
Right.
their resources, right? So, like, for
Mhm.
example, other people's resources, 8th house is also like taxes, right? It's about mortgages, it's about bank loans, it's about credit. Why? Because that's not your money. Somebody had to loan you that money and then you have to
Mhm.
pay it back. Or the
Right.
government, like the government, taxes. Yeah, you earned that
Taxes,
money,
right.
but now you got to give them that money, right? So that deals with other people's money and
Mhm.
and their resources and how you're able to use them and leverage them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, this is so good.
Oh, let me tell you, there's a whole rabbit hole, a couple of them to go down. Um,
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And I like one of I think it's the 12th house is, like, all about, like, the forbidden topics or, like, the
12th house
is
well,
it,
it's
like, death and sex
8th
and
house. 8th
8 that's the 8th
8th
house
house
too?
too, yeah, 8th house is
Oh
pretty
my
loaded.
gosh.
8th house is pretty loaded, yeah. Death, sex, and regeneration, uh, deep psychological transformation. Loss, it deals with loss, it deals with a lot of those
Mhm,
heavier emotions, betrayal, grief, sadness, sorrow. Oh, yeah, it's heavy. It's metaphysical topics, it's shamanic
mhm.
work, like, 8th house is loaded, okay? Loaded. There's a lot going on in there. So
Wow.
we're
What's the 12th
the
house?
12th house has a little bit of a different slant because the 12th house
Mhm,
talks about the unconscious and the unconscious mind, the unconscious patterns, right? So for example, I'm trained and certified as a hypnotherapist, and one of the things that I
mhm.
used to look at immediately was the 12th house.
Yeah,
The 12th house and then
right.
whatever's across from it, the 6th house, right? That's gonna give me a whole lot of information about what's going on in the unconscious patterns. But from a spiritual perspective, 12th house is also the house of things like meditation, yoga, breath work, learning how to surrender, dreams, right? Having like dreams at night, working with dream symbols, prophetic dreams. It is visualization, all those things. It's retreats. It also rules places of solitude, right? So somebody
Oh,
can like
like deep sleep.
but somebody could be like, on a retreat. I always call it like the eat, pray, love house, right? They
Yeah.
can be on a retreat and that's solitude, right? They can go on like a no talking retreat. Somebody else could be put into a rehab or a hospital or maybe they have to go, they're imprisoned for some reason. These are all places of solitude where it's just you and whoever your God or God of your understanding is. And that's why some people, if you've ever noticed, and this is such a weird analogy, but if you ever noticed some people come out of prison or jail and they found God. Yeah, they had a lot of time to just sit and think and connect with and hear their inner thoughts. And I'm not saying the ones who just say it. I mean, they really had some profound change go on, or some visions came to them while they were in their jail cell, or they wrote a book, or they completely changed their life. And it's like, wow. And they'll say, like, that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I don't know if I could have ever put myself in that solitude. Not telling people to go to jail, but
Yeah.
other people might be like, I was in the hospital for 6 months because I broke my, got into an accident, and boy, I learned all about my inner self at that time and had a lot of healing. So solitude can be forced, or it can be, something that you decided to do just for yourself. So whenever people have planets going through that 12th house, I always tell them, especially my business clients, don't put so much on your plate during this time. You need more solitude than in any other area of your life. And if you put so much on your plate, it's going to keep you from actually connecting with that inner part of yourself.
Wow.
I told you I could talk about
There's
this
so
stuff all
much.
day, right?
I know. There's so much that we can learn and like look at in so many different areas of life. So this is amazing. Tell everyone where they can follow you and find you and sign up for these sessions besides the links in the show notes, but just in
Absolutely.
case they're
The first
listening.
place I would tell you to go if you're wanting to join us for these astrology online gatherings, and they're totally free. You can go to my website at soulaligned, soulaligned.net/harmony-2026. And if you want to follow me on Instagram or send me a DM, you can do that as well. And I'm at Soul Aligned by Design. And those would be the best two places to find me and to connect with me. And I really look forward to connecting with any of you listeners who feel called to join us and take a look at what's going on for you in 2026.
Yeah, thank you. And I think those are some big themes that we have set out for all of us
Yes.
to explore. So it sounds like it's going to be a fiery and fast year.
Absolutely.
But we're not gaining full speed till the middle of the year.
Yes,
So we have
you
a
have a
few
little bit
months
of time left. Be prepared, right?
to
Yeah.
prepare. Good. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It was
You're
such a pleasure.
welcome. It was so good for me as well. I really appreciate it. And yeah, anytime, let me know.
But wait, before you go, I want to share something special. It's opening up my Inner Circle mentorship. For those of you who are feeling called to experience more depth and more presence and more aliveness in your spiritual practices and in your everyday life, then I want to extend this very, very unique invitation to come into my world in a more intimate way. Starting at the beginning of February, we will be opening up a philosophical study looking at the power of now. And alongside these philosophy classes, I will be also offering unique sessions that include somatic facilitation and elemental embodiment using breath and energy awareness that will help you connect more deeply to your own innate inner wisdom, as well as learning how to listen to what your body really is trying to say to you, is trying to speak to you through breath, through your nervous system, through your emotions. And this inner circle isn't just a place where you can just go through the motions on repeat, where it's the same old routines, the same old practices, the same old philosophical lessons. This is an alive space filled with real people who want real teachings, real practices, and real support. If you're someone who wants to feel connected, regulated, inspired, and held as you walk along this spiritual journey, then I'd invite you to come in and join us. We are here to greet you, all of you, and you can show up however you are, messy, in process, in between states, practicing, not practicing. We are here to hold you and create a sacred space, a sacred time for you to connect to your most valuable resource, which is yourself. This is soul-centered self-care, and it's here to help you create practices in a way that actually work for you in this season of your life. And you can do this with my support and alongside a global community of people who know your name and truly get it. I'm so in love with these big, beautiful humans that are in my inner circle, and I would invite you to come inside and become a part of it. It's open for a limited time this month. We're starting in February with these deep exploration of classes, and you're going to get a special limited time price when you come in the next few weeks. So I cannot wait to see you. This is a year mentorship, and we're going to go deep into all of these beautiful practices, looking at philosophy, energy, embodiment, the elements, and how to regulate your nervous system in a way that feels like it's truly serving you. So I'd love to welcome you in, and you can find all the details in the show notes. And as always, thank you so much for walking this path with me, for being here. I truly am grateful for your presence and sending you big love for this big, beautiful new year. Welcome to 2026. That's it. We've concluded another episode of the Finding Harmony podcast. I just want to thank you so much for doing the work that changes the world, starting with yourself. It truly does make a huge difference. Please make sure you have your automatic downloads turned on wherever you listen so you don't miss any of the upcoming episodes. I have so much more magic I can't wait to share with you. Lastly, if you're on Instagram, I love connecting and hearing from you. So come on over and say hello at Finding Harmony Podcast. And you can also come say hello to me personally at Harmony Slater Official. Thank you again for being here. I cannot wait to share more with you in our next episode.